What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Investing Bros, the most generous YouTube community out there. Guess what? We got a great show lined up for you guys today. We are definitely still going to be talking about Bitcoin. We have some interesting news coming out this morning that you're definitely going to want to hear, but we're also going to be discussing some Cardano and PEPE, both very interesting things. Of course, PEPE, one of the new hot kids on the block. Cardano, it's been a little boring. They have some great news, but the charts aren't necessarily that exciting. We're going to tell you more about that and give you all the info you need to be investing wisely. My background is moving. I think I'm in the middle of an earthquake, so that if I go in and out and I move around, that's completely okay, guys. Don't worry about it. Go ahead and smash that like button, though, for the free price of free. And if this is your first time here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel for everything you need to know to stay up to date on all your crypto investments, to be able to make those decisions for yourself wisely. Go ahead and smash that like button. Also, let's go ahead and go introduce our co-host this morning, starting off with the man down in Florida. Now we are in 3 different states, but we're going to go with Florida man, T. Shroom. How you doing this morning, Florida man?
I'm doing better than I deserve, Tim. I'm having a really, really good time down here in Florida, staying warm. But nonetheless, I have a hoodie because my AC is cranking, baby. Got to stay cool down here in Florida. Well, I've got an awesome tweet. I've got an awesome quote of the day here for us. If you go over to my screen, it's going to surprise you. Oh, I don't know what that was. It's going to surprise you. I've got Nick Cage here on our quote of the day. Understanding is deeper than knowledge. There are many people who know you, but very few who understand you. Nick Cage. Getting a good chuckle in on that picture. I like that picture of him. Why Nick Cage, T-Shroom? Well, he was mentioned on Joe Rogan's podcast recently. I was listening, and Nick Cage doesn't get enough press in the memosphere and in the crypto world. So maybe we can pull Nick Cage into the crypto world. We shall see. But he's got a couple Ferraris apparently.
I do think it's weird that we have Nick Cage discussing understanding people. I don't know if there's many humans in this world that understand Nick Cage. So kind of an ironic quote there for sure. But we're also joined this morning by Mr. Army Piper out in Texas. How are you doing this morning, Piper? And what are your thoughts about old Nicolas Cage?
I like Nicolas Cage, man. I think he's pretty cool people. But yeah, I like that quote. That's a good quote. There are a lot of people that know me, but very few people understand me. So, and I feel sorry for the ones that do. So, but I'm doing fantastic today, Tim. I'm doing great. Pepe, that's all I got to say. Pepe. So,
man. Yeah, we will definitely get into that. Let me know in chat right now. We put Pepe in the poll this morning. I asked you guys, make sure you guys go and vote. We have 49 votes, so most of you have voted. We have 54 people watching right now. Will Pepe pass Sheep? What are your thoughts, though? Because the poll doesn't really give you that much. What are your guys' thoughts about Pepe in general? Are you fans? If you're a fan of Pepe, if it's something that you will probably invest or already invest, go ahead and put a 1 in chat. If you will never own Pepe in your life and you just are a stone cold hater, go ahead and put a 2 in chat. I think right now, so I have not yet bought Pepe, but I'm getting close. I'm looking for another entry. I think I told you guys yesterday, I had a good entry the other day. I called it. I just didn't put a order in, which you easily can do over on BitGet. If you guys have BitGet Exchange, one of the perks of Pepe, but I didn't do it. And I regret it. I would have made a lot of money. I probably would not have put that much. I probably would have only put like $100 or $200 into it. Maybe here and a little bit later when I see more established things happen, I'll put a little more in. But let me know what you think about it in the chat. Speaking of our chat, though, it's time to read some of these names. I'm seeing a lot of 1, 2s, and then Gia S breaking the rules, saying 3. Crimson Caravan Company saying 1.5. So that's interesting. That means he's here to be persuaded. I do believe that's what a 1.5 or a 3 would mean. Gia says, I don't know what I want to do. Makes sense. Let's go ahead and read some names here. Special shout out to our first commenter of the day, Mr. Eric Wallen, but there is a discrepancy here. And I don't know what we're going to do at this. Crypto Sec Guy, one of our blue wrenches, says, I don't know if a random N should count. So I will have to leave this up to he just gave a super chat, so we're going to say it counts for today. But guys, what should we do with this rule? Are you allowed to be the first commenter with a single letter? Does it need to be a minimum requirement of 2, like a GM? How many characters must be typed to count as the first commenter of the day. I will let the community decide what the rules will be. But right behind him was Mr. Crypto JMP. As I mentioned, the third guy this morning was our moderator, Crypto Sec Guy. Good to see you back here, Crypto Sec Guy. It's been a little minute. And I saw later on you say that you don't like the state of Georgia. Well, you know what? That's fine. You don't have to like the state of Georgia. You live in Minnesota, and that sounds like an absolute nightmare. But, to each his own. We got also Crypto JMP is here. A mellow fellow is here. Who else do we have? Also, by the way, I'm streaming right now, guys, on a Mac, and I hate Macs. I hate Mac mouses. They scroll in the opposite direction that Apple PC. What did I say? Mac?
You said you hate Mac.
Oh, well, I'm just a little stupid this morning is what it is. This is how dumb PCs are. PCs make me say dumb things, and a PC mouse is absolutely stupid. I love Macs, but I guess I'm just dumb this morning. I don't know.
It's okay, Tim. Yesterday I called Sui a layer 2 on accident.
You are such a silly goose, T-shirt. Let's call out some other names here. Joe Nickel is here. Who else do we have? Oh, there I go, scrolling backwards again. Elliot Locke is here this morning. Spee is here. Justin Eubanks, DLK, Mike Play, 88 Ace. Ooh, 88 Ace. We got some 88 content for you today. Who else do we have? Gia S is here. Poshus is here. The Investing Bros is here. That is me. So nowhere close to first. I'm terrible at getting in the comment section. Crypto Trades is here this morning. Gia S, Philly Skills 1428, Crux of Crypto with the blue wrench. Who else do we have here? A mellow fellow, Yair Navarro, T Shroom with the blue wrench, Army Piper with the blue wrench. Let's see, get a couple more here and then we'll move on into the content. A lot of the same people coming over. Ninja Glock is here, and we'll get a couple more here. Grand Roofing Incorporated, OBY or OBC, Max PP, Steve Shrum, DeJenny from the blockchain. Love to see it. I think DeJenny from the blockchain made like a whole series of all the influencers who have called him out, so that's awesome. Cryptex with the blue wrenches here this morning. Crypto Pew Pew Cruise. And the last one I'm going to read, Brokoshi Nodinero. Those are the names we're reading this morning. Thank you, everybody who has commented. If I did not read your name, I'm so sorry. It's not that I don't love you. It is just time to go ahead and move into our content. Starting off with these two super chats that we did get this morning. Eric Wallen said, Tim, you just got to shout like Frankie Candles. Am I quiet? Am I loud? What am I this morning, T-shirt? Am I different?
I think Frankie might have a signature shout that I'm not familiar with. A bellow, perhaps?
I don't. A bellow? We'll come up with something. Crypto GMP said I can super chat too. That's awesome. Yes, you can. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Everybody can super chat.
It doesn't come for the free price of free, like subscribing or hitting the like button, but you could come for the cheap price of cheap. I don't know. I don't think there's a level you have to give or the minimum, but you get a special shout out on the stream. Let's go ahead and go into our content this morning, starting with our macroeconomic outlook this morning. Throwing it over to you, Mr. Piper. Take it away.
Thanks, Tim. But I just do want to point out, though, that everyone's wrong about arguing about which is better, Georgia or Minnesota. It's Texas. Okay. Texas is the best state. So let me go ahead and jump in here on Friday. Looking at Friday, May 5th, macroeconomic news here, guys. We do have retail sales came in overnight for the European area. It was previously at negative 2.4%. They had a consensus and a forecast that it would be down 3.1 to 3.2%. Actually came in down 3.8%. I know that sounds bad, but it's actually a good thing. It is lessening demand and letting supply check up, and Europe needs that for their inflation numbers. So this is not a bad thing for them. In the U.S. side here, we got into non-farm payrolls this morning. Previously was at 165,000 jobs. Consensus was that it would come in at 180,000, or not jobs, sorry, payroll amounts, that it would be an increase of 180K, forecasted at 190K, actually came in at 253K. So it broke expectations there. Unemployment rate, it was at 3.5%. They said it was going to go up of 0.1%, and then it actually came down 0.1%. So that great for the labor force, not good for markets here. Participation rate currently 62.6%. Staying neutral, 62.6% of the U.S. population is participating in the labor force. And then hourly wage earnings year over year was expected to go down. actually came up. So we broke everything this morning, to include the month over month, on what was projected for consensus and forecast, showing that the labor market and the job pay wages are all really strong in the US right now in comparison to what they thought it was going to be. So that is why we are seeing some activity on the dollar. Let's go ahead and jump over into Trueflation, give it a little fresh here. Yep, looking at 3.87 here on the Trueflation, and that is interesting because if we look at what's coming next Wednesday, guys, going to be the big day, May 10th. Put it on your calendars, or just tune in here next Wednesday morning and you'll get to see it all. Inflation rate is going to be coming in for month over month, year over year, and the core inflation rate. I want to point out to you guys that it looks like our core inflation rate is projected to stay the same, coming in neutral, but it looks like our inflation is continuing on the downtrend in the United States. So there you go. And yes, I will say to Ninja Glock, if I wasn't in Texas, I would definitely be in Florida. So back to you, Tim.
Listen, there's probably lots of reasons why you're going to choose one state or the other, but I can tell you this right now. Minnesota, just a little bit too cold, probably just too far, but Georgia's better than Florida and Texas when it comes to temperature and climate. So I'm going to take Georgia for those reasons. Let's go ahead and go over to my screen here.
Tim, state tax, bro.
Listen, okay, I'm telling you this right now. It's at worst, it's gonna equal out, because already where I'm living up here, it's cheaper than what I was living down in Gainesville, Florida. Like, the housing is cheaper, the food is cheaper, the gas is cheaper.
But I don't pay property tax here. I would pay property tax in Georgia.
You also live in a sand pit. Let's move on, though. Let's keep going on. The CME futures prediction is already predicting at this point that we're going to have 96% say we're going to pause for the first time in over a year. We talked about this yesterday. There is a very small percent, and this technically grew from yesterday. I think yesterday was 0.4%, saying another 25 basis points. We still have, 40 days, so a lot could still change over here. Even when it comes to what we were just talking about with Trueflation with Piper. Let's see. I think it's good, and I think everyone's gonna be happy, and the economy's gonna like the fact that it looks like inflation is still coming down. But I don't buy it, especially with the fact that we're now raising the debt limit once again, and banks continue to crash day by day. Watch those money printers come back on, and good old inflation continue to go to the upside. Now, that's going to be good for crypto prices, not great for you as people if you're in the United States, though. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, sitting at 61 this morning. Again, we're in the greed, but this is kind of normal. We kind of expected this. We've been talking about this now for about a month now. Even though we're in the greed, this is part of what I'm still predicting. My plan and my opinion on the market continues to stay the same, that we're going to be seeing Bitcoin get a pre-bull market rally here very soon, followed by a pretty significant dip, and then the real bull market starts later on this year, potentially early 2024. Let's go ahead and take a look over here at Bitcoin this morning. Now, there's a couple things I want to take a look at right here. You guys are going to notice that we did have a little bit of a dip. Piper kind of mentioned this when he was doing macroeconomic data. If you were to go and scroll at the Dixie is having a little bit of a pump this morning, but it is hitting back towards this long-term resistance. If I were to go out to the daily chart, you guys can see here on the linear chart, we've been in, now this is technically a falling wedge pattern, but I don't think it's going to end up working out that way. I think this is going to be one of the things, the Dixie, I think the highs for the Dixie are in potentially forever. Who knows? But we're coming back up here into resistance once again. Watch potentially. This could be part of that catalyst for why Bitcoin just absolutely skyrockets here over the next couple of weeks, because the Dixie, as it continues to bump into this resistance holding up, we could have ourselves a nice little fall. And of course, that would then correlate with crypto and Bitcoin moving to the upside. Let's go back over to Bitcoin, though. Some things to keep your eyes on this morning. Let's take a look. We had some bearish divergence coming here just a couple, like last night, I do believe, or this might have been a little bit yesterday. What time? Yesterday morning, but it wouldn't have flashed yet when we were finished live. So that came in right after we finished our live show yesterday. However, finding support on our 4-hour dynamic reactor, we're kind of now back in a spot of hovering. This is definitely something to keep your eyes on. Let's take a look at our fixed range volume profile that changes depending on the timeline you're looking at. Let's start with maybe just the last week and a half or so. You're going to see that we actually rejected right here at our point of control. We did have a wick get above our value area high, but we were not able to really keep that very long. Of course, that's something to keep your eyes on. We talked about that yesterday. Our value area low for this timeline is down at 27,680. 288. You guys can see that's also part of this yellow box. We've been looking at all the way since back here on April 4th. So if we were looking at different price directions we can go, I still am going to just stick to it. I think Bitcoin's moving to the upside. Even this morning with that payroll coming out a little higher than expected, actually a lot bit higher than we expected. That explains why there was a little bit of a wick, but already Bitcoin is kind of hovering back. Wasn't too big of a deal. Let's spread this out though. Let's go back a little bit further with our fixed range volume profile, and you guys will see we're actually still well above the point of control. This is going to be another area to keep your eyes on at 28,000. If we do start to see any type of significant bearish momentum coming into Bitcoin and we lose our rising level of support right here, watch out for that point of control, 28,000, to at least be a stopping point where the market gets to continue to decide what it wants to do. Again, I am not expecting or predicting we're going to actually get to those levels. I do believe worst case scenario, we're coming back down to about 28.5 before we actually rally. That would be the support line again. But I am going to kind of look at this formation here for a second. I'm not 100% certain what to do with it, because while I do have a flat level of resistance right here that would give us an ascending triangle, the fact that we're really struggling, yes, we have some wicks to get above, but we're really kind of hitting our heads right here around 29,288 several times. You guys can see all those wicks that top out right there. You got to start to explore the concept of a different level of falling resistance. Let's go back here to on the 4-hour chart, just to the highs we had back on April 14th. And even though we have several wicks and candles that break through, you see a lot of closes here on the 4-hour chart kind of stay below this level of resistance. So this is another thing to keep your eyes on. If you guys want to go ahead and add this to your chart, there is no such thing as TA plagiarism. So go ahead, if you want, when you're doing your TA, follow along with me. Go ahead and anchor that top all the way back on April 14th on your 4-hour chart, and you will see just a lot of touches. Of course, that was the level we just rejected at here this morning. This would be very significant for Bitcoin bulls to go ahead and break this level with several candle closes on the 4-hour chart above that level of resistance. Then we can possibly begin to talk once again about this flat level closer to 30,000 as an ascending triangle that we should be keeping our eyes on to break to the upside. Last thing I'm going to do this morning as I'm looking at this, let's pull up our Fibonacci and take a look at what it is doing. I want to go ahead, let's do the two different Fibonacci levels here on Bitcoin, starting off from the bottom back here that we had on the smaller time frames back on April 24th, all the way up to the top that we had here on April 26th. You guys can see right now, we kind of bounced here at the 0.382 level on those, but we're struggling to get above the 0.236. If we're to zoom in even maybe a little bit closer, let's go to a shorter timeline right here. I could even come down to the hourly chart to make this make a little more sense. So there's more candles going on here. Right now, we're sitting here struggling. This would be the 0.382 as well. Not struggling, sorry, finding support at 0.382 on the hourly dynamic reactor as well. So that's two dynamic reactors being used as support right now. That's pretty strong support. But of course, like I said, worst case scenario, we're talking about 28.5, 28.6. That's going to line up right here with this 0.5 level. So even if we get a little bit of a bearish momentum coming in, keep your eyes on those levels. We still got a lot of support below us. It's not necessarily time to freak out. And there we go. PC, freaking mouse pad. I hate it. I will say, I felt Kelly's pain the other day. As much as I love Mac, and as much as I prefer Mac to PC, what I do not like is the pad. I hate doing TA on the Mac pads. I much prefer having a connected mouse. And I saw the other day when when Kelly was doing TA over on the BitBoy show, he was struggling very hard, and that struggle is real, guys. I don't know if any of you try to do TA with a mouse pad or a trackpad on a Mac. It sucks. Some people love it. Frankie somehow does very well with it, so shout out to him. Bing bong. Let's go on. Let's explore some other ones. So a lot of times we jump over into Ethereum, and I am going to throw it to Piper in a second to do more of his TA on Pepe, but I wanted to cover two coins. Of course, the title today, we're talking about Cardano and we're talking about Pepe. So we got to do some TA on those coins as well, even though when it comes to Cardano, it's not the charts that are making any splashes right now. It is the news. Let's take a look at what's happening on Cardano. There are some things, I will be honest, that are a little concerning to me, and that is unlike Bitcoin, where we have more of a flat-looking top with an ascending bottom. With this one, we actually have a flat bottom with a descending top. Don't mess with those words. I realize what just came out of my mouth. We're going to move on because we're mature adults, and we're not going to talk about it in any degenerate ways. We're going to talk about the descending triangle that is appearing right now on Cardano. And this is something that I definitely think we should be keeping our eyes on right here. I don't necessarily know if it's going to play out to the bear side. I'm still kind of thinking this yellow box is going to hold up as support, but this just goes to tell you Cardano, when it comes to price action, despite the fact that we do have some good news on Cardano, despite the fact that that team, the development team, continues to build great things, the price is just not exciting. And while we did see Bitcoin begin to rise, Ethereum had itself a good morning, Cardano has stayed kind of boring and low. And when you go back and look at the history, let's even go out to the daily chart on Cardano. I'm really thinking we're going to see something explosive. But you guys can see if we were on the linear chart. Let me take down my oscillators real quick. And I got to go to Kraken because Kraken gives us a longer time frame for Cardano price. On the linear chart, this looks like a very boring action. Like Cardano could potentially continue to trade sideways and boring for a very long time. This looks like nothing's happening. However, if I go to the log chart, there's several massive rallies and dips that happen throughout the lull in the bottom of Cardano. But Cardano back in the last bull market really did not start its bullish momentum and big climb until closer into it kind of started rallying a little bit in November, but it didn't really start until December of 2020, January 2021. Of course, that was months after Bitcoin and Ethereum had started their rally. So the same thing, I'm wondering, do we see still a lot of volatility coming with Cardano? Do we potentially, after periods of very boring price action, get massive explosive rallies, for example? Not that I think we're going to match these percentages exactly, but if you guys see this little price action right here on a linear chart, it looked like it was nothing. We only went from, what is this, 2 cents up to about 10 cents. But guess what that is? That's a massive, almost 300% gain on Cardano. Same thing here. Even though price is boring, do not be surprised to see Cardano, when it wants to do it, just go ahead and skyrocket here. Let's go back down to Cardano and go to the normal. Let's go back to my normal chart, though, what I want to use with, what about the Binance.us? Do not be surprised to see Cardano eventually take off. But for right now, we do have to be very real, very honest. It is very boring TA. It is not really doing that much. All the people who like to hate on Cardano are probably sitting here saying, dang right, Tim, it doesn't do anything. But guess what? The good thing about Cardano is, even though nothing is happening in the price action right now, when this price is ready to take off, the community is there and it is strong, and watch it begin to have a nice little rally here, probably within the next couple of weeks. I also think this is one, you see this happen a lot in the past. You see Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano, and I used to strongly call these three like the big three. I don't know if I'm really going to keep Cardano in that conversation, but it still has a very, very strong team, a very, very strong community. And I would not be surprised that as it is boring right now, and we saw more happening with Ethereum and other altcoins, do not be surprised if Cardano gets its turn. We've seen that happen several times over the last couple of months, where during these periods, this was actually times where Cardano was outpacing both Ethereum and Bitcoin back here in January. Also out here in March, yes, we had rallies from Bitcoin and Ethereum as well, but Cardano was outpacing them. So are we setting ourselves up with Cardano for another turn to outpace the others? We're going to have to stay and wait. And possibly the news like what we're going to cover today is part of the reason why that could happen. Let's move on. Last one I'm going to talk about very quickly, and I'm going to throw it over to Piper because he has a little bit more. It is PEPE coin. Now, there's not enough of PEPE coin to really do too much TA on these longer time frame charts. We got to drop down very, very, very low. But something I will say, one of the coins, I talked about this the other day. Look at that rally. That is just a beautiful, beautiful explosion right there. Use your Fibonacci. One of your best friends on a chart with not that many candles is Fibonacci levels. If you guys were to come in here, this is what I was talking about. I think I was telling you guys the other day that I identified a good entry point, and that was this right here. I'm going to go move up just a little bit down to these bottoms we had. This is, I'm on the 30-minute chart right now. And if you were to go to these bottoms we had back on April 26th, up to the high at the time we had on May 1st, I saw this wick drop down with a lot of volume here to the 0.5 level. And I identified, even told some people in the office, I said, hey, take a look at the next time we come back down, because we rallied back up. I said, next time we rally or fall back down to that 0.5, if we don't have a lot of volume coming in, that could be another good entry point. Boom, sure enough, that's exactly what we saw happen. I'm going to throw it over to Piper to do a little bit more here. But just so you guys know, not only do you use these Fibonacci levels for retracements, but the other cool thing, in case you guys didn't know this, you also can definitely be using Fibonacci for extension. So next tool I'm going to look at, Come on now, Fibonacci. If you go from a top to a bottom here on Pepe, take a look at some of these extension levels. While Pepe did rally above it, I was keeping my eyes on this level. We had a nice rejection right here at that 0.235. This was one I identified and said, hey, keep your eyes on some of these levels right here. Sure enough, the 0.235 level ended up being rejection. You could have come back down, bought in again at the 1.5. Now, next one up, I'm going to let Piper take it over from there to let you know what he's saying. But my tip to you guys on these meme coins, on these newer coins, even SUI, if there's not a lot of charts happening, doesn't mean TA is worthless. It means you got to know which tools can tell you the most information. And Fibonacci is one of the best to use on coins like this. With that said, Piper, what are you seeing on the Pepe chart? And do you have any other charts you want to show this morning?
Yeah. So Tim, just so everyone's asking, they're asking why Pepe, because I mean, you can't deny that it's moving in the market and it's got a draw, it's got a community, and you should never ever underestimate community ever. So and actually looking at how this could move here, we actually got Chart Prime's been tracking it really good, because I told you guys 70% happens between the golden trade bands. We're getting great reaction on the delta lines on the predictive ranges here. Fantastic again here, running up. And then also, if I go and I turn on the chart patterns actually isolated off this whole section here, gave a confirmed breakout on it when it broke out. This was all the way back on last Friday, so the 28th. You could have caught all that on the breakout from the charts. I wasn't even looking at it at the time because I am not a meme coin guy. It is the only degen coin that I really have in my entire portfolio. But why did I get into it? Well, I had a couple of reasons here, and I'm going to show you. I used my fib strat, and I did it off of this run up here. It's going to be using this point at the bottom to the top here, and then on the pullback there is where it comes in. So if you want to see how that lays in on the settings here, I just go here to here, and that's it. That's how it lays in, right? Those settings are a little bit special, so if anybody wants those real fast, you can come back here and check it later. Go ahead and grab them. There you go. But when you have this run up and you get a big run like we had right here, and you drop this fib strategy that I have the settings for here, and you get a pullback that respects the golden pocket, you then watch for it to respect the 382. If it respects the 382, you get into your entry, and that's what I did last night. So I caught this entire move last night of 46%, and it's right now currently 51%. So I made 51%, put $1,000 in. I'm up over $500 right now. So this strategy works. Their TA is possible to do on small coins, and right now it's doing pretty good for me. My goal on this one right now is looking at around the 0.00000000, all those zeros, and 331700. So yeah, that's why I got into it. I saw it respect the golden pocket here, and it hit the 382, perfectly respected it. We just now, on this pullback that we had with the Dixie move that happened this morning on the economic data, almost to the dollar, respected the negative 618, and up it went. So there you have it, man. I mean, if you got the data in front of you, you can't negotiate with the charts, and you can't deny that it respected my fib strategy. So I went with it, man.
Yeah. Piper, let me kind of even tune in here, because great comments. So just so you guys know, I love when you guys give us your opinions, your thoughts. We want them, but I want to answer them. So Mike Lowry, for example, love seeing you in here, by the way. Mike Lowry, you are an amazing part of this community. He said, speaking of community, he said, it's got a community. That's why. Great reason. You know, Pepe is, he said Popo, but I wonder if he meant poo-poo, right? Here's what I'll say, guys. Here's what I'll say about Pepe. Here's what I'll say about meme coins in general. First of all, I'm not a big fan of meme coins, but I am learning the more and more I'm growing in my in my crypto education. Because by the way, guys, even though we have his channel every single day, T-Shroom, Piper, and myself, we're always seeking to better ourselves, just like you guys are. I am learning to appreciate the concepts of meme coins, and guess what, Mike Lowry? When we're talking specifically about meme coins, the community is everything. So when we're looking at like ones that have done well in the past, let's talk about Doge and Sheep. Both of them are doing so well because of community. And of course, when it comes to Doge, you definitely got the influence of Elon Musk. But because they were made as jokes, they had to depend upon a community. And this is where I've kind of gotten to a place. I come to a place of where I'm going to be very very conservative when I do get into and touch on some meme coin investments, but I'm definitely going to be looking for big community, and I'm going to respect those communities. For example, Dogecoin is not going anywhere. I was one early on in my crypto days saying, "Oh, it's a joke. It's going to deplete the space. It's going to hurt us. It's going to die." No, that's not going to happen. Dogecoin, even though it's just for fun, let's think about it. Even though it doesn't really offer much value other than being funny, it's a meme, it's not really a good store of value. People like having an outlet to go have fun, to go do those things. That's one of the reasons why I'm not necessarily as big on Sheeb, even though Sheeb had its moments and Sheeb had its days. I think someone said it last night on Around the Blockchain in the comment section when I was talking about it. They said there's going to be one dog coin, one frog coin, one snake coin. I thought that was kind of funny. But that's
funny.
true. Sheeb, even though Sheeb is trying to say that they're going to do other things, we all know that it was a meme coin. It was a joke. It was for fun. And there's already a dog coin like that, and that is Doge. The reason I do believe Pepe could be special, and again, we're talking about the community, is of course, outside of crypto. Let's take crypto away for just a second. The meme of Pepe, the community of Pepe, the thing that happened over the last 15 years or whatever with 4chan, which, by the way, not supporting 4chan, not saying that's where you guys should be. I'm just aware of the fact that there is a massive community of millions of people who, for one reason or another, just love to invest and be in and around the Pepe meme. That being said, because there are those people like that, I do believe that this meme is not going anywhere. The same way when Doge first came out, and a lot of people said, "Oh, this is stupid. It's not going anywhere. It's going to die." Guess what? It's in the top 10, and it doesn't look like it's going anywhere anytime soon. For the same reason, I think Pepe, with already a massive community that has nothing to do with cryptocurrency, I think that's the reason it's going to outpace Sheeb. And I'm even starting to question, man, could this bring certain people that maybe aren't yet into crypto into the crypto space, and not only help the rest of crypto in general, but could Pepe take over as the end all be all meme coin? I don't think Doge is going to die, but could we see Pepe pass it? I think there's an outside chance. And so for those reasons, even though I'm not necessarily big on the whole meme coin space in general, I respect it. I think Pepe is different than other meme coins that we've seen, and it could be a massive gain. I think, Piper, you were talking about this, just some kind of moon math, I guess is the best way to put it. If we were to see, if we see Pepe repeat even just what Sheeb did, his little investment of, Piper, you have to take it over from here because
it's $1,000 investment. Shiba Inu did a 46 million% run up in the last cycle. If Pepe did even, hit that same run, just a matching run up, my $1,000 investment's $460 million. Do I think it's going to hit that? Absolutely not. However, I will take profit anywhere I can take profit. It's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. Right. So, and I do want to point out to people, this is like second from the bottom. I have a little bit of Stellar Lumens at the bottom of my portfolio. This sits right above it. And I have like 15 solid tech projects in crypto above that. So this is not at all in the top of my portfolio. It is actually the bottom of my portfolio. So
yeah, no, hey guys, and that's what if you're not a degen and you're listening to the sound of my voice, you know who you are, right? If you're not a degen, let me give you guys a little bit of comfort here. Is every time you don't buy Pepe, right? Every time you see the meme and you ignore it and just stay focused on what you're working on, you are flexing. You are flexing your discipline muscles. Now, I'm not saying I'm not going to buy Pepe. I'm just saying if you are someone who ignores the memes, ignores the hype, there is a place for that, and you are winning on a different level, right? Just because Piper's going to make $1 million on Pepe coin doesn't mean that you can't make $1 million in discipline by ignoring the hype.
T-Shroom, you're just trying to get back on my party list. That's all you're trying to do right now.
listen. What T-Shroom is saying though is good. I want people to understand, just because of what I've said and what Piper said, that is not us saying this is a must buy. You have to have in your portfolio.
Not at all.
I told you in the beginning, you need to learn to, and all coins and everything, even in Bitcoin and Ethereum and Cardano and more established technologies, you need to be wise with your investment and make sure you're doing your research. When it comes to meme coins, as Piper even said, if it is in your portfolio, non-financial advice, but do not make it a significant portion. I think I told you guys, even though I'm not in on it yet and I'm looking for a spot, I'm not going to be investing much more than maybe at the most a couple $100. Could it turn into a lot? It absolutely could. And that's because I've learned in my process now over 3 years of studying cryptocurrencies, I went from being a complete hater to, you know what? There's something here and respect has to be given. But that's because I went through a long journey of a process of eliminations. I've made some good decisions, made some bad decisions. You guys have got to go through that for yourself and make your decision. So
Absolutely.
if you're sitting here and you're like, I am not a meme coin fan, good, don't invest in it. And you shouldn't, because you need to stay with your convictions. You need to stay with what you know. This is not going to be the end all be all coin. There's going to be so many other technologies and legitimate use case cryptocurrencies that come out that will be amazing investments. If you don't want to waste your time researching Pepe and the community and stuff, don't do it. Just don't waste your time. If you're not passionate, if you don't have a desire for it, there's going to be so many other wins. But we did want to cover it because it's something that is hot right now. And again, it's something that I'm learning and growing to appreciate the space for meme coins, but it will never probably hold much more than a 2%, 3% of my portfolio.
Yeah, one last comment. I added to my third biggest moon bag, which is ADA, yesterday, also because of the wallet update. So that money that I put into ADA, I have more faith in return than what I do on my Pepe. I told my wife it's $1,000 bet. I just went to Vegas yesterday for about 5 minutes. So that's all it is. That's all it is for me. Yep. So.
Well, guys, with that said, though, that is our TA for today. This is Friday, so we aren't going to see you tomorrow morning with more TA, but we'll see you on Monday. I think that this weekend could be very interesting on the charts. It is time for me to jump off. Hopefully next week, the plan is for me to be here for the full hour once again, but this is my last day of doing some training for the live show over on the BitBoy channel. Very soon, you guys will see a lot more of me even on that channel, not the video, the live show every morning, being the co-host there. So with that said, I'm going to throw it over to T-Shroom for our stock market open. And for the rest of you guys, I will see you in Discord and next week on Monday morning.
Bye, Timmy.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, guys, I would be remiss if we did not also mention Happy Cinco de Mayo. So if you go to the screen, you can see our little Happy Cinco de Mayo graphic there. It is a lot of fun. Well, you'll be also having a lot of fun if you have been trying to scalp oil. Oil has been on the come up 3.8% today in the early minutes of the New York session, as it's trying to make a run back up to those $80 per barrel highs. I don't know if we'll get there, those mid-April highs. We shall see. But right now, it is trying to push through some resistance and push higher. We did get a wick on the 3rd all the way down to $63 per barrel. That was pretty wild. I doubt we'll see prices that low again, but look at that chart prime on the 4-hour predicting that perfectly. Let's move on into our market open here, guys. Natural gas also up a little bit. So energy recovering as much as it can from yesterday's crazy sell-off in energy. And as we're seeing a resurgence here in equities as well. Looks like the NASDAQ is getting up 0.8%. So it's getting underbought compared to its counterparts, the S&P and the Dow Jones, who are up more than 1%, both of them. But as we're moving down into crypto, we're seeing way more green on the screen than we did yesterday, with Ethereum coming in pretty strong here, up 2.1%. And finally, Uniswap getting a little bit of love here too, up 2.6%. Optimism Chain, not so much. It's going to be our biggest loser so far, but let's confirm that. Yeah, so Optimism Chain and Gala both down more than 2% this morning. Actually more than 2.5%. So you're seeing a mixed market here in crypto, a little bit more consideration of the actual projects themselves rather than just flooding in to crypto in general. Looks like Cake has stabilized here down at $2.50, which is in the discount range there on the 4-hour for Cake. So not great news there for Cake holders like myself. My Cake unlocks actually in about 8 days. I've had it locked up for a year. May 13th is when it unlocks. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do, if I'm going to keep it or if I'm going to restake it or if I'm going to sell it and buy Pepe. We'll see. All right, moving on into our metals, our mixed metals here. We've got gold and silver both down 2%. So everybody's selling off their metals to buy Ethereum this morning is what it looks like. Also looking at our mega cap tech stocks. Whoa, Apple up almost 5%. That is pretty remarkable. perhaps Piper, you can see if there's some news on that. They're past their earnings, so maybe they came out with something. But on the 4-hour, man, Apple is absolutely ripping. It has gapped up in the pre-market here, and as you can see, it is actually pushing into that premium zone there. So that is why our equities are getting bought this morning. Apple has done something remarkable, and we will find out what it is hopefully in just a second from Piper. But it's green across the screen, except for Meta down 1% there. On your mega cap tech stocks, yields are all up this morning, even across the pond in Great Britain. Their 10-year benchmark is up 3.3% on their yield, and the American 10-year benchmark is up 2%. And I will also note that the 2-year is down below 4%, marking what could be actually this is starting to get the bond yield curve is actually starting to straighten out here. It's starting to be uninverted. So that's really interesting, Piper. I don't know if you can hear me if you're taking a look at this, but this yield curve is actually uninverting, and that is that spells
It's exactly what I wanted to see.
yeah, that's actually pretty good there. Interesting
This is
development. What's
for
up?
those that are watching. We talked about this a couple days ago about the yield curve, and what we wanted to see was that 2-year stay under 4% and start to get closer in line with that 10-year. We're still about 0.4% off, but once that flips, guys, that's super bullish economically. So it's the sentiment.
Yeah.
That is pretty much a sentiment reading right there. But it looks like Crux is saying that it's the quarterly or earnings is what they said. Second quarter, 2 quarters in a row better than expected. So there you go.
Okay,
Thanks,
that's on
Crux.
Apple. I could have sworn that they already printed their earnings. I must have been mistaken.
Yeah,
on that.
it was
Well,
yesterday, but the aftermarket yesterday is now catching up into the price. So there you go.
Gotcha. Well, here's the big one right here, guys. This is the thing to get excited about. Is Coinbase up 12%? Take a look at that. DraftKings is up that much as well. But man, Coinbase really, really coming in hot. We'll take a look at the charts here in just a second. But across the screen on your mid-cap tech stocks, you are seeing green, less snow. Let's take a look here at the charts for Coinbase. Man, that is quite a big a gap. I'm assuming that is also earnings. So that's pretty exciting there for Coinbase. Go ahead.
I do want to point out that Kathy Wood sold not long ago, and everyone says she sold the bottom and then it dropped a lot more after she sold, and now she just bought back a ton more. So might be something going on there in her brain.
Yep. On the daily chart, I'll do a little bit of TA here on Coinbase because this is an important stock for our space. We're going to be talking about it a little more here in the news section, but it is right under this equilibrium range here. So it's still under the equilibrium, still under that dynamic reactor, which is red, but it is gapped up this morning. It's showing signs that it wants to get bought here very strongly at this 47 48 level. Buyers are voracious here. They are hungry, and they're not going to let it. They didn't let it go lower back here in early or mid January, and they're not letting it go lower than here again than this $48 per share level. So keeping an eye on that. If it does come back and get lower and test a little lower, that might be a place to try to edge in, guys. I had the thought to buy Coinbase yesterday, and I didn't, and I don't know why. I think this could be a good long and hold. I think this is going to be a very, very big stock.
T-shirt,
very
trust
big
your
company.
gut. Trust your gut. Always trust your
Gotta
gut.
trust your gut. Gotta trust your gut. All right, moving on. Big banks getting bought up pretty aggressively this morning as well, with Wells Fargo up 3.8%. I will say that these guys are recovering. They've been down. They're recovering. That is why you're seeing some big green on the screen there. And then our oil producers, I'll move to the side a little bit, up all the way across the board. So a lot of green this morning, guys. A lot of liquidity going into assets. And the Dixie is still up 0.8%. 0.18%, excuse me. But not really on the daily chart, not really showing too much progress. Still very much range bound and likely to hit its head up on 102 and come right on back down. But we shall see. There's definitely some big events, including next week when we get that CPI print to keep an eye on. That could absolutely send the Dixie moving in one way or another. Well, let's stop back by the indexes here, and they are still up, and the situation is the same. The NASDAQ is still underbought compared to its counterparts, but hey, almost all up 1%. It's hard to argue with that if you are a retail 401k holder. Well, let's go ahead and get into our promotions of the day. Again, I'll wrap it up with, it is Cinco de Mayo, baby. So if you're having any plans to go out tonight, make sure that you get home safe. Take an Uber, take a Lyft, whatever you're going to do. Or maybe take one of those Lime scooters if you live in a city. But just be safe, guys. Be smart. Cinco de Mayo, for those of you who don't know, is a big holiday where people consume copious amounts of tequila, and I may be one of those people celebrating tonight. So we'll see. But Piper, anything to mention that we want to bring to the attention of everybody watching?
Yeah, I do. Actually, Overcome sent a super chat and said, best cold storage for a 1-year-old niece. He's buying her Bitcoin for her birthday that she can't touch till she's 18, which I've been doing that for my nieces and nephews for a while. That's a very smart thing to do. However, I have a ledger. I like my ledger, but I do want to put out that Investing Bros is getting ready to do some deep, hard research on another cold storage wallet that's looking really promising. It's got a lot of good information that we're seeing on it. We're researching the crap out of it, let me tell you. But we will let you know as soon as we are done with that, because we don't want to say the company's name or the hardware name until we know for sure that it's safe for our community. So we are doing some research on that. We'll let you know. But as of right now, Ledger, they're fantastic. So that's what I go with on that. Did Jenny from the blockchain said T-Shroom cake gets unlocked on his birthday, and that is the best cake to have on your birthday. So
I agree.
I wanted to put that out there. And then yeah, so the other thing I want to talk about, guys, is you guys saw what was going on with Chart Prime calling all these moves on Pepe. The price is getting ready to go up on that. You guys are hearing it here first. It's getting ready to go up pretty harsh, actually. It's like, I think it's going to be like close to $67 a month. So if you want to get locked into the cheaper prices, there's a link down below in the description. Use that to get into Chart Prime before the prices go up, because they will never come back down. And we also have a bunch of upgrades coming too. That's why it's going up. So I just wanted to put that out there. It is that's what I got for promos, man. That's what I got for promos. What do you got?
Excellent.
You got anything?
Well, I would just say keep an eye out for our Substack. We're launching our Substack this week. Next week, it's going to be on Monday. It's going to come out with our newsletter we've been dropping in the members section of our Discord. We're going to be launching our Substack, where you guys can read our newsletter on Substack. You'll be hearing a lot more about that next week. And Crux of Crypto has been instrumental with that newsletter. There are also some rumblings. Do you hear them? The rumblings? There have been some rumblings about NFT projects. We're not going to get into any details, but some NFT projects with the Investing Bros, and we have some meetings to kind of flesh out all the details on that. But there's some fun stuff coming up with NFTs from the Investing Bros. Some of you guys already know.
Can I give them a hint? Can I give them a hint?
You may.
One of them is Pixel Tim. You guys are going to love it. So
that's right. Got to see some of the early drafts this morning from our artist. So
our in-house artist.
In-house artist. That's the word I was looking for there. Not enough coffee. But all right, let's go ahead and get into the stories. Piper, if anything else comes up that we wanted to cover, definitely let me know.
Absolutely.
But let's go ahead and start off. Happy Cinco de Mayo yet again. PEPE coin shorters lose millions as PEPE jumps to 900 million valuation. Of course, now it is higher than that, or at least it peaked into higher than that. But let's get into the details. Warnings centered around the apparent number of whales or entities who hold large amounts of any token who purchased PEPE in the hours after it was first issued in mid-April. So there are definitely some whales who bought early, and those guys could easily sell and not rug, but they would definitely bring the price down quite a bit. So just be cautious of that. That raises kind of the ultimate question that we'll get here. I'll throw to Piper in just a second. But funding rates and perpetual futures tied to the token remain negative, indicating the dominance of bearish positions in the derivatives market. An 80% price bump in the last 24 hours has led to outsized losses for these traders. However, CoinGlass data shows short against PEPE lost at least 11 million on several exchanges over the past 24 hours, with traders losing 5.5 million on crypto exchanges OKX alone. So pretty intense buying has just led to similar things that we've seen in meme coins and meme stocks again and again on the AMC, GameStop side, on Doge. Folks try to short it, and it just keeps going up, and those shorts get big liquidaski. So, Piper, I want to throw it up to you. If you are a whale who got into PayPay early, and I'm talking big whale, I'm talking maybe even like multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of PayPay coins, how high do you want to see PayPay get before you go ahead and start to sell and take your profits?
Man, that's a tough one. I think it. I mean, they've all got a number in their head. Everyone does, right? So I'm not sure. I'm not sure that there's a definitive line in the sand that you go, okay, hit that level, let's pull out now. Everyone's got a dollar price in their head. So, but I think as long as we keep seeing things like we're seeing right now, like this candle that's pumping again right now on the 1 hour, I think they're going to keep it in there to see where it goes, man. So, it's moving. It's just now set a new high just now as we were talking. So, like.
That's pretty
But
wild.
I will say that the well wallets that they're talking about for tokenomics, not a good sign at all. Again, that's why I said this is not a long-term investment. This is a gamble. But it's not as bad as the tokenomics on Sui, man. Sui's only got 5% of its total coin in circulation. So I'd be way more skeptical of Sui, which is a layer 1, than I would have with this meme coin. So
yeah. Absolutely. Well, here are the holders according to EtherScan, and it doesn't look like there's much. It looks like the distribution's pretty solid. The largest wallet, it's actually a smart contract, is 6%, and then the largest wallet is 4%. So if I'm reading that right, and I'm not, this isn't something I do all the time, looking at the holders of different contracts, different coins. But
Archie has changed your ways.
Yeah, if I'm reading that right, that's favorable. That is a favorable number. It's in the single digits, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And in terms of circulating supply of PayPay, it's almost all out there. So from a tokenomic standpoint, guys, PayPay actually looks pretty decent. But this article, is kind of showing that folks that are shorting it were getting crushed. So that could change, though, now that it's on KuCoin as of this morning, where you can probably short it here pretty soon, if not already.
And Binance.
Yeah. Yep.
Binance officially announced that it's going on there too. So I still think we've got more running room on this.
And look what I have pulled up on my screen is that Binance tweet,
Oh,
that
look at
announcement
that.
saying Binance will list PEPE coin on their exchange in the innovation zone. So you guys have probably completely done hearing about PayPay, and so am I. So let's keep moving, guys, here. Voyager creditors could start seeing funds in the next few weeks. Let's get into some of this. If you're a Voyager creditor, then you are probably pretty excited about this. A May 4th tweet from the Voyager official committee of unsecured creditors said the now defunct crypto firm is in the final stages of bankruptcy liquidation procedures. The UCC is hopeful that initial distributions will begin within the next few weeks. Now, is a creditor someone who had their funds on the exchange, or is a creditor someone who had invested in Voyager on the financing rounds? I'm not sure.
Unsecured creditors, people like me and Crux who have money over there. I have a little bit. I have a little bit of money over there. Nothing big. But Crux has like life-changing money sitting on Voyager, so he's probably very excited about that. So.
All right, yeah. So Crux and anyone else who's in that situation, this is probably a very welcome headline. Let us know in chat if you are excited for this next step forward, or if you've become jaded because this isn't the first time they've said it. Moving on into the Cardano news, Cardano's long-awaited scaling protocol Hydra goes live on the mainnet. Let's get into some of those details right here in a recent update. Input, Output, Hong Kong, IOHK, the startup behind the Cardano protocol, the first Hydra head has recently opened on the mainnet, setting a whole new standard for scalability on the proof-of-stake web network we all know and love as Cardano. There it is, the IOHK official Twitter kind of shouting that exact news there. The goal driving the deployment of Hydra is to make the parent blockchain more usable by scaling its transactions. Hydra is considered a family of layer 2 protocols that aims to support Cardano's adoption in areas where cheap and fast transactions are required. So it's just another check box on the overall kind of goal sheet here of Cardano making yet another successful implementation of a new technology there on its mainnet. Will it ever be rewarded? Will Cardano ever move to the upside in a bullish and raging fashion? We will see. It seems like for now, the meme coins are kind of taking center stage and kind of taking on the majority of the attention. But Cardano and Ethereum, and plenty of other layer ones and other projects do continue to, kind of scale, try to implement new technologies and make their product higher quality. But the meme coins, they get that attention, they pop off. And just like, people like Piper, myself, and Tim get excited about the prospect of making a lot of money. Whereas projects like Cardano that have been around for a while, they get ignored, but they are constantly building. Will investments in these type of projects be rewarded in the next bull run? I think they will. All right, let's move on. Speaking of another project that has been demolished, Piper, did you have something to say about Cardano?
Yeah, like I said earlier, the money that I put into ADA yesterday was because of this, and I'm more bullish on the money that I put into ADA than what I am on anything else. ADA is very quickly moving up in my portfolio lineup, so it's like number 3 right now. I think here pretty soon it's going to have enough being put into it that it's number 2. So
there you go. Nice little portfolio update from the Piper man himself. All right, let's go ahead and get into this next story here, guys. Ripple and Coinbase. I told you we're going to talk about Coinbase, who's up big today. Coinbase top legal minds hold offsite meeting. Is an XRP relisting closer than ever? That's kind of the story there, guys. But here's a picture of the two legal minds there. I believe this is he did a video recently with Brian Armstrong. He's one of the main legal counsels there for Coinbase. And then to his right is, or to his left, if you want to say from his perspective, his right or his left, whatever you want to say. The other guy in the picture is from Ripple. So very, very interesting that they were together. Let's get into some of the details of what was kind of going on there. These guys' names are Coinbase's chief legal officer, Paul Grewal, and Ripple's Stuart Alderati. So these are the guys, these are the legal minds fighting for us on the front line to try to get some regulatory clarity, to try to not have Ripple be classified as a security, all of those kind of things. But Ripple and Coinbase are currently at an impasse with the U.S. SEC. Ripple Labs was sued back in December 2020 for allegedly selling unregistered securities in the form of XRP. Of course, you all know that, but many XRP fans are once again suspecting that Coinbase could soon relist XRP. This unfortunately, this article, I read it all. There was no real details of what was discussed other than, just the SEC sucks and all that kind of stuff. But it's really just kind of the optics. This is really the story right here, is the optics of these guys actually being together, chatting, and that could potentially lead to XRP coming back on Coinbase. I don't know. What are the chances of that, do you think, Piper?
I think it's going to happen. It's inevitable. It is going to eventually occur. I think that they have a really good case. I think the judge has seen a lot of fault in the realm of the SEC in this whole thing. And by the way, that is number 2 on my portfolio that I was just talking about in competition with Ada. So love all of this news you're dropping on us today, T-Shroom.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, that is actually the end of our stories. I don't think I've ever gotten through all of our stories so quickly like this. But that's really, really cool. So ultimately, guys, here, it was not a huge fireworks day. There was some bullish news for XRP, some bullish news for Cardano. But most of the fireworks are kind of being stolen, withheld. If I'm a big company right now, I don't want to go public with any new products, with anything really, because PEPE is stealing the show.
Yeah, literally right now, that target I told you guys about a little bit ago, that's literally where we just wicked up to. So
just got wicked, and where it's wicked, it's
candlesticked.
So
hey, King D asked earlier if I have that strategy of this with my these special fibs that I use on this target for trading, and there is over on Coinbase. There's a fib and predictive ranges strategy that uses the strategy. So yeah, it plays out a lot. So It's a good strategy, and it doesn't. You don't even have to use it for leverage trading. You can use this for looking for good spots to spot buy and stuff like that. I use it quite a bit for my portfolio too. I trade a lot less than what I hodl, just so you guys know. So
Sure. Well, guys, we're wrapping up the show here, but in terms of investments, see the investing bros, Coinbase not looking too bad. Cardano, not looking too bad. Chainlink is a coin that I bought a little bit more of fairly recently. Piper has been revealing his his portfolio quite extensively, so I'll go ahead and share some of mine. But Amazon, guys, if you're looking for a really conservative play, but that still has a lot of growth potential. Why do I say Amazon? Well, I'm on the daily chart here, and it is still well below the premium, right? But it is above that dynamic reactor. And although the waves here are above the zero line, you still see a decent amount of opportunity for Amazon to run up to the upside here, moving into Q3. The other thing to note here is on the weekly chart, it's much more undervalued. So Amazon undervalued here. I would say it is definitely well within buy territory if you believe in the Amazon thesis, which I can't believe I couldn't be. I would be pretty surprised if you didn't. But that's going to go ahead and wrap up our show here, guys. Just a couple of
not financial advice. I'm going to go ahead and throw that one out there real fast. That is not financial advice
to buy Amazon.
Yeah, we don't give financial advice. Do your own research, but that's what T-Shroom was doing, and probably
Absolutely.
me. So,
yeah, I feel like Amazon is almost like, I don't know that you could sue somebody for buying and losing money on Amazon.
Someone will find a way. Someone will find a way. If they can sue over hot coffee, they can sue you over saying Amazon's a good buy.
That's true. Well, it is not financial advice, guys. We are only trying to bring you guys educational content here, but it is high quality educational content. And we do really, really appreciate you guys tuning in. We are one of the fastest growing crypto YouTube channels out there, and that's really exciting. And it's all thanks to you guys, but we're also striving to be one of the top generous investment communities online. And again, we owe it all to you guys for helping us achieve that 100%. Status. And we will see you in the next video.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor, the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.